Today I am doing a review on White Cat by Holly Black. White Cat is a story about a teenage boy who is from a family of people who have powers called workers. And everyone has a different kind of power. There are luck workers, there are memory workers, emotion workers, death workers, transformation workers. Anyway, but he comes from a big long line of them, and he doesn't have them. He kind of feels like the black sheep in the family, kind of left out of everything. No one ever trusts him with, anything important. And he starts having these really weird dreams about a white cat, and that keeps trying to talk to him and telling him stuff, and it doesn't really make any sense to him. And so he starts following the breadcrumbs and discovers that he's a part of a con in his family, that his family has been conning him. And I'm not really going to say anything else about that. I gave this book a 3.85, I guess, stars out of 5. I had a few things personally that I didn't enjoy about this book, but at the same time I really enjoyed the overall plot of the story. I love the idea of this world and the powers that are in it, and I found it really interesting concept, and interesting to read. It was a different kind of perspective than I'm used to. I usually don't read books that have a male perspective, but I really enjoyed this one, and I found the character very entertaining, and so yeah, I highly suggest you go check it out. So if you haven't read this book, that's all I have for the non-spoiler section. If this interests you, go ahead and read this and then come back and watch my review on it, because I'm gonna be spoiling stuff now. Alright, bye. So yeah, I had a very, very mixed experience with this book, and very mixed opinions about this book. Like I said, I'd probably only give it like a 3.85 maybe stars out of 5. Because there were a lot of things that I personally struggled with. Nothing towards the book, really. It was just, I look for certain things in books when I want to enjoy them, and I just didn't get it in this one. For whatever reason, I didn't feel it with this book. One of the things was I didn't ever really feel connected to any of the characters. I didn't feel any, big attachments toward them. I don't know, I felt like Castle, he was a good character and, entertaining to read about. I never really felt anything for him. Any kind of, attachment, any kind of, I felt his pain kind of stuff, and, my favorite books, I have that feeling towards, and I didn't get it with this one. I never, when something bad happened to him, I'd be like, oh, that sucks, but, I wasn't, floored. The same thing with, his friends and the other side characters, brothers, things like that, and his grandfather. I feel like there was a lot of lost connections that would have been really good to have, and because there were a lot of really interesting characters, there were side characters that, I don't know if they weren't developed enough maybe or something, but I just never really felt anything towards any of the characters. And even when Castle finds out that he's been a killer, that he's killed people before with his power, his transformation power, I was like, oh man, that's crazy. But I wasn't like, oh my gosh, what? I like to freak out in books, and I didn't get that. Even his feelings towards, or his relationship towards Lila, it felt very kind of forced for me. It felt like he was basically her doormat, and I understand that, she's a very strong personality and she has to be strong and all that, but I don't know, I felt like they could have, they could have done more with that relationship, and it felt very forced, very, he was a doormat, and she knew it, and, she was okay with that, and so I didn't really like her. I did find this world very interesting, in the powers that are in it, and this concept that the people with powers have been, around for, all throughout history. And so, yeah, I found that very interesting, kind of like what our world would look like if something like this happened to us. And yeah, so I found it very interesting. I did like Castle's constant, tips on how to con, and I found the whole conning business, like strategies and plans and what goes into a con, very interesting and a good addition to the story. As much as I found this book interesting in its plot and its you know, the cons and stuff in the story, I was equally disappointed in the lack of emotion that it brought out in me. But, you know, and I really, I don't know if I'm going to continue with this series. I might not. I really don't know. But, you know, I don't know, maybe if it continues in the next books like this, I probably won't stick it out. But, you know, I'll probably eventually pick up the other books and see if it does improve for me. But I can't make any promises. The only part of the book that really brought any emotion out in me was kind of like this emotion of anger, frustration that his mother at the end worked Lila into loving him. That made me the most upset and feel the most emotion out of anything in the book. And so I was kind of like, I was disappointed in that too, because I was like, oh, you wait this long to like get something, stir something in me. But yeah, and I don't know, that ending was just enough that I wasn't gonna read the other books, but I might now, just because of that ending. It did stir something in me. So yeah, we'll see what happens with this. Like I said, I gave this a 3.85, so it's not a terrible score. I didn't hate the book by any means. I just didn't feel any connections and any emotions, basically, and that's something that I really enjoy when I read. I hope you enjoyed this video, and subscribe to my channel. Bye!